Wisdom time. That's just geography. I'm going to make sure there's a lot of people here. So far, we've got a couple people. If you're in the Words of Wisdom on YouTube, make sure you raise your hand. Or just say you are, I guess, in the chat. Times I look in your eyes. Got a couple more people. All right, we've got a good amount of people here. We're going to start the Words of Wisdom. So today we're talking about floating across the Pacific on a raft and why Sitting Bull liked to be shot at. This one is really one of my favorite Words of Wisdom, and I'm super excited to share it. We're talking about the most important personality trait a human being can have, and this is absolutely necessary for success. I'm super excited to share about this because this is one of my favorite things ever. This is something I look for in human beings. There's so much clutter in ideas, and there's so much bad information out there. If you look at just like conversations online, if you look at comments based off of a post, or if you look at the comments and conversations in a live stream, you have so many bad ideas and opinions that are just so poorly formulated. And there's so many varying opinions too. So you cannot be democratic. You have to only listen to the best of the best, the people that are experts in those ideas. And the single greatest thing you need to have is courage. I want to talk about how cold showers can change your levels of courageousness. But if you want to know whether or not somebody will be successful, ask them how much they care about what other people think of them. You cannot be afraid of being different. And unfortunately, like so many people are. Like there's the people that are only different for the sake of getting attention. And then there's the people that want to fit into a mold for the sake of being loved. The people that don't care what people think of them and do what is best for them regardless and aren't afraid of being a little bit different, those people have true courage. Louis Zamperini showed immense courage when he stayed cool under pressure. So Louis Zamperini, he was stranded at sea for over 6 weeks, and he was tortured for over 2 years. I forgot the name of the movie, but there's a movie based off of him. And he showed tremendous courage. With Native Americans, whoever was the most respected was the chief. That was just the way that those civilizations worked. And Sitting Bull was the most respected in his tribe. He would go into battle against the American pioneers saying, "Today is a good day to die." That takes tremendous courage. Sitting Bull once sat on a blanket with bullets all around him, and he calmly smoked a pipe. So you can teach yourself to have more courage and be more brave. It's actually a neural pathway in your brain, and courage will change your life. Like you can absolutely change the amount of courage you have. That's not to say that fear isn't healthy either. Like fear in moderation will motivate you and save you from serious disasters. And courage is like that Kenny Rogers song. You need to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So there are things that you should be afraid of. I think the best thing is to ask yourself, what are the most successful and courageous people in human history afraid of? In Israelite history, something that you can look at, it was literally God that they were afraid of more than anything else. There's a verse that says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's super crucial. Another scientifically proven thing, there are genes that are specifically for courage. And some people are born with those genes and have higher chances of success simply because they have those genes. So that's kind of interesting. And some of the most successful families in the world continue to pass on those genes on top of teaching that personality trait, but they pass on success. So in some level, like being a billionaire, being successful is genetic, which is really interesting. This is scientifically proven. And I'm also going to say this. I don't want to get into too much trouble, but I'm going to say it. There are certain countries whose citizens have inherently more bravery than others. For example, Sweden has a very low index of courage. And I mean, some people will see that as like not good, but it's scientifically proven. It's just a thing. But you can't adjust your levels of courage. So you have to take practical steps. One of my favorite things for building courage, this is like the number one easiest, best way to hone tremendous levels of courage, the same levels that Sitting Bull had and Louis Samperini. And this would be to take cold showers. They've done tons of studies. The best way to take cold showers is to do it first thing in the morning for 3 to 6 minutes. For men, it increases your levels of testosterone. It completely changes your neural pathways, makes you more brave. It just completely changes your courage levels and the way that your mind is wired. And cold showers have done wonders for me. So I take a cold shower pretty much every morning. And when I first started a few years ago, when I was in the middle of this cold shower, I would turn it on lukewarm. And as soon as my body adjusted to the lukewarm, I would turn it as cold as it could get, which isn't even that cold. Like, it's just whatever the water temperature is in the ground. And it would come as a little bit of a shock. But if for any reason I was wanting to be out of it, and with how miserable it is, I would breathe heavily, which is actually good. You want to breathe as much as you can. And then I would yell the word courage. Like, courage, in the shower. And if anybody else was in the house, they'd be like, what is going on? Like, what is this girl doing? But yeah, yelling the word courage when it is difficult can really change a lot of things. So my questions for today are, what is an example of an opportunity you missed out on because you were afraid? My next question is, who is somebody you look up to that you can study? You can also look at books. You can look at a seminar, a movie. It can literally be a human being, either living or dead, one of the eminent dead. Another question I have is, what practical action can you take today? Can you jump in the shower, sing and dance in public, doing something that is absolutely terrifying? When I was 18, I was the most introverted, shy, terrified person in the world. And I remember my sister, 12 years prior, had competed in the Miss El Dorado County pageant. And as a tomboy, this was not something I thought I would be interested in doing. But I decided to do it because my 6 older sisters wouldn't. I have tons of sisters. None of them would do it. So I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow my sister's footsteps. And my biggest fear was public speaking. And here I am choosing to compete on a stage in front of thousands of people. And I won. I honed the courage through tons of practice, listening to the right people and the mentors, and I won the competition. So figure out how to do that. Face your fears. Take the Batman approach. So if you like these words of wisdom, keep tuning in, turn on your notifications so that you can see when I come live in the mornings. And feel free to comment any type of topics that you'd like me to cover in the future. There was somebody that requested that I cover the topic of loneliness. And I like to hear what people are dealing with and what's going to be impactful to hear about. So when everybody else is afraid of doing things, like everybody else is afraid, just go and do stuff. And I'll leave you with that. Tomorrow we'll be talking about unstumpability and Sherlock Holmes sleuthing, which is kind of a fun topic. We'll talk about uncovering all of the knowledge at your fingertips. This is today's Words of Wisdom. Thank you for joining me.